in uncertainty, mindful of the weary inkling that is lurking. Hierarchy has been cracking ages, embodied in this black heart, shameless. Straws in the wind, is it all ending? Straws in the wind, is it all ending? Like the blunder brewing full to the brim, I can see the bees above Cheshire grin. Cooking some brown, cooking some big, pandemonium, selfish pigs, headless chickens, stretching less. The media will never quit. That's the wonder. Leg roll fueled with discontent. Mortal traffic lights signaling when to stay or go. Condescending expendables march to a clock. Novus to the dilemma with nothing clever left in stock. Straws in the wind, is it all ending? Straws in the wind, is it all ending? Like a blunder brewing full to the brim, I can see the bees above Cheshire grin. Cooking something raw, cooking something big, pandemonium, selfish mix, headless chickens, sketching less. The media will never quit. Where is he? Where is he? Coming in the sound booth. That's good, excellent.
What is up, everybody? How are you doing? How are you doing? LSUODYSSEY.com live here with you all on this beautiful Friday. And we're right there at the eve of, what do we call this? It's not a spring game anymore. I have started to say, let's call it the spring showcase, because it is nothing more than them go. Let's show the fans some sexy plays. Let's have the fans have some moments with the players or coaches, autographic wise, after the practice game, whatever, scrimmage, probably most likely. So you got a glorified scrimmage of two kind of quarters, basically. Let me show you what my email has from LSU Sports Information. We have credentials to be there. Sadly, we won't be able to make it for this one, unless there's a miracle where, we can be able to afford a plane ticket for tonight and fly there to get there for tomorrow. But we totally would. But unfortunately, not in the budgets. We have something cool for this later this month, going back down to Louisiana, that took precedence. And but let me show you what I got from LSU Sports Info. This is probably the best opportunity all spring we're going to have at actually kind of understanding what LSU has right now football wise, because you haven't heard much like, hey, this is what this team's all about. This is the identity of this team. This is, kind of the vibe of this team. There's a lot of unknowns with this team right now. And there's a lot of exciting things about this team, though, too. So there it's kind of a yin and a yang. This team could really go one of two ways. And injuries, things like that are really going to play a key role in deciding that. But for tomorrow, for this spring game, this spring showcase, as we called it, um, there's some things we want to keep an eye on that I think really are going to play a big role in LSU's future this season as being competitive national championship competing team, which is what they should be this season. There is no excuse for this team not being in a 12-team college football playoff. There wasn't an excuse for that last year, especially when all we really had to do, it seems, was just beat that god-awful Florida team that proved not to be so god-awful. And we would have been able to do that, but we could not do that. There's no excuses for it. There's no excuses for not making the 12-team playoff, in my opinion. Like it just can't be negotiated or put to the side of just like how bad that is when you have all of what you have, these resources at LSU this year. It's incredible. The resources that have been dumped into getting these players out of the portal, 16 different players. And there's some that are crying, oh, this isn't enough. Oh, we're not spending as much as Ohio State. Oh, we're not spending as much as Georgia. Okay, maybe they're in worse shape than we are. Georgia had their quarterback leave. We didn't. There's many different things that you could say about that, but I just have a feeling like LSU have added and beefed up in the right spots here. And I feel there should be, and there's every right to be excited about this team. At the same time, we've got to be realistic. At the same time, we've got to really focus on what we see in front of our eyes tomorrow, because that is going to be a big indicator of what this team is about. We right here have an email. This is an email from Michael Bonnet, LSU Sports Info. Awesome dude. It says, LSU's 2020 football team will be on display to fans for the first time on Saturday when the Tigers host an open practice and scrimmage, followed by an autograph session with players and assistant coaches, along with a photo opportunity with head coach Brian Kelly. This year's event takes the place of the annual spring game. There will be no television coverage or radio broadcast of the event. So no Chris Blair. Wow. No TV coverage. That's crazy. I expected that, but it's still kind of crazy to read. The times, they are indeed a-changing. Gates to Tiger Stadium open at 9:30 a.m. for fans. The gates are open 9:30 a.m., people, okay, with all seating on the west side. Fans can enter Tiger Stadium through gates 1 through 6. Practice is scheduled to begin at approximately 10:35, with the scrimmage portion of the day set to start at 11:10 a.m. 11:10 a.m. for the start of the scrimmage. At the conclusion of the scrimmage, fans will be invited to the field, where LSU players and coaches will sign autographs for 30 minutes. Kelly will be stationed in the north end zone and will take pictures with fans during the 30-minute session. The autograph session is presented by Bayou Traditions. It's presented by Bayou Traditions. I love that. All photographs with Kelly will be taken by an LSU staff photographer. Man, Gus Stark is going to be going through a lot of work, and will be made available beginning Monday, April 14th, for fans to download for free at this link here for the Kelly photos. Fans will be provided with a commemorative poster as they enter the field for the autograph session. Fans will also be permitted to bring one item into Tiger Stadium for players and coaches to sign. So you can bring one item in for them to sign. Interesting. In order to accommodate as many fans as possible, autograph seekers will be limited to one signed item, either the commemorative poster or a personal item. Interesting. Okay. Remember, you got to have a clear bag, all that stuff. Most of you know the drill here. 9 a.m. football team walks to Tiger Stadium. 9:15 a.m. football teams arrive at Tiger Stadium. 9:30 a.m. gates open at Tiger Stadium. West side entrance only. Gates 1 through 6 can be entered through. 10:35 a.m. individual drills. The drill work starts at 10:35. Okay, drill work 10:35. 11:10 a.m. first half scrimmage. 2 15-minute quarters. Halftime at 11:40 a.m. 11:50 a.m. second half scrimmage. And that's a format that they are going to literally decide as it's going on. Okay, that's enough. Cut it there. That's what's going to happen. Spring scrimmage session. The spring scrimmage ends at 12:25, and it could probably end earlier, like we've seen with a few of these spring games under Kelly, where it's like that's enough. And I love that. Why would you we have to play this thing out? Like if you feel like you could risk injury to your players, end it. Autograph session starts at 12:55 p.m. and then event ends at 12:40. Let's get that off my email. So, let's see. Oh, I put that in my. So, as you can see, LSU, they're going to be doing a modified spring game, just like a lot of other schools here. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't understand the idea of playing an endless, ridiculous, pointless, unnecessary, spring game. It made no sense to me ever. It never did. It never made sense to me. Like the risk of injury, and you hardly saw it. You hardly saw injuries during spring games, right? I understand that, but just the fact that it was there, just the fact that it could have happened, just made it all seem even more kind of silly. Like, why are we doing this? Why? And also the fact that the spring portal is right there, right after it. I mean, Matt Rule was so dead on when he basically started this trend and said, at a press conference, he had a viral moment where a viral question was asked of him, and the report said, "Hey, what are we going to do for this spring game? You said you were going to maybe change it or cancel it," and he's like, "Yep, we're canceling it." And they're like, "Really? Whoa, gulp. No one does anything different at Nebraska. How could you, Matt Rule?" And he's like, "Listen, I don't want to give some team like Georgia, Texas A&M, a chance to really scout my guys. That seems kind of stupid to me. Why would I put myself in that position?" It was like, wow, smart coach. And so many, I knew it the second he said it. Smart coach, smart move. This is such a no-brainer. I just knew it was going to become a trend. I just knew it, and I didn't think it would be that quickly. I didn't think this would, LSU spring game would be modified this quickly. But when you're talking about, Brian Kelly, he's a coach that loves to have complete control over how his team, the fitness levels, the exertion of his team, how much work they're putting in, how much work they're not putting in. He wants to have control over that and be able to, how do I put this? Lighten the load. For instance, you've seen over the years LSU not doing hitting drills, right? Not doing hitting drills, not doing tackling drills through the first part of spring. And that just always rubbed me the wrong way, always made me feel like we're set up for doom, defensively. What are we doing? It made no sense to me. Why are we not at least having 3 weeks where we're hitting? And you can really dial it back however much you want, all that stuff, but you really got to you really got to do this. Like, this is what this game's all about. And you saw our guys on defense, first few years of Kelly's tenure. Really, I mean, his first year, the defense was actually a lot better. There were some games where that defense really stood up for us. Alabama comes to mind, of course. But there was some awful, awful moments from that defense as well in both years for Matt House, not just 2023. And LSU have had some piss poor safety play, tackling at the back end for years at this point. Years. When is it going to end? You know, like, that's something that's a huge point of this season. LSU don't have to have a return to the form of having a top 10 defense every year. They don't even need that to win a championship this year. Because what I think we're going to see offensively, and we're going to get a glimpse of that this spring, I think we're going to see offensively, this defense just needs to be top 50 to really give us a shot at winning a national championship. I think that this offense is going to be that steam-breathing and that intense, that good with Garrett Nussmeier. I think they have the chance to take it to the limit. This defense just needs to supplement that. This defense just needs to supplement, to complement, to create turnovers. You know, just be great at one thing, right? Just be absolutely great at one thing, whether that's taking the ball away, you create turnovers, you create a lot of sacks, you get a lot of TFLs, you know, something where it's like, okay, we can put our hat on this unit. We can rely on this defensive unit to actually win us games. Footage once again by WBRZ. He's sneaking up on me.
Okay.
Ah! He's covered in chalk. He's got his chalk. Seiji, what's up? What's up? Yeah, he came in running in here. You just want to sit here and do the podcast with Dada instead of play with Grandma? Okay.
Okay.
He's playing with his grandma. But Seiji, say hi to everybody. What's up?
Hi.
Here, bud. You don't want to push anything. We gotta do a show, buddy. There's people right now watching this who want to, you know, actually have some LSU stuff, not just a baby farts, you know, which you actually literally just farted right when I said that. I've come up with some things I feel like we must see at this spring game. I mean, here's the thing. It's not a must situation. This isn't a... Brian Kelly's not going to be fired if he doesn't win a championship this year. You know, he's not going anywhere. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. LSU should be right on the doorstep of winning a national championship with Brian Kelly when you've got a team like this. When you're talking about Jaden Daniels' second year. We're talking about, like, Jaden Daniels' second year, 2023. What a missed opportunity. And if we do not get there to the college football playoff and go on at least a semifinal run with what we have on this roster, then we have either completely overplayed our hand in every single way, significant injuries, play calling never improved from Joe Sloan, Blake Baker's defenses maybe at LSU aren't as good as we thought, and offensive line, we never quite figured it out. That's what's going to happen. So really, LSU have a significant chance to get to a championship game this year. Compete for a national championship. Get on that doorstep and actually go win something. Actually go win something. Not just talk about it and say, hey, we're a championship program. We're a championship program. LSU, we're a championship program. I came to LSU to win championships. I came to LSU to win championships. There's only so many times you can just repeat that and people believe you. People, want to follow you. I've never heard of any coach just getting a free decade, a free 5-year period even, to coach LSU and see if it works out, see if you can win a national championship, see how far you can take us, without having extreme trust and pedigree and something that was really working. And here's the thing, Brian Kelly has done a lot to overload and to overturn a really shitty, really toxic culture at LSU. He's done a lot. He's done a lot to really load up this staff with some of the best coaches LSU's ever had at one point in time. This is a formidable, incredible staff that he has built for years at LSU. For years. This is Kevin Peoples into his second year, Broyles Award finals. This is Cortez Hankton into his fourth year at LSU. Joe Sloan wanted to be a head coach into his fourth year at LSU. Frank Wilson, 4 years with Brian Kelly at LSU. Brad Davis, now into his fifth year at LSU and his fourth under Kelly. There has been a lot of staff continuity. Yes, some people have left. Some people we've had to switch defensive line coaches every single season. We've had to switch defensive coordinators twice now. But for the most part, there has been strong staff continuity under Brian Kelly, which has been a major plus for LSU. A major plus for LSU. LSU could not rely on that in the Coach O era. Coaches were like half the staff, 3/4 of the staff was gone every single season. Except for 2018 to 2019 to 2020, that bridge. And even after 2019, you still lost a ton of coaches who had bigger opportunities. Dave Aranda, who went to Baylor, Bill Bush took off, the list goes on. The list goes on. Tommy Robinson, the list goes on of coaches who left. But some still stayed, for at least one more year, that pandemic season, and then took off. But the point is, Brian Kelly has totally restored the staff of LSU football to actually be able to stay year to year to year and actually have something resembling continuity on staff, which is incredible, in my opinion. And I know it hasn't won us championships yet, and I think it would be an absolute damn shame and kind of really disappointing. Looking back, you've had Frank Wilson here for this long. You've had Joe Sloan here for this long. You've had Cortez Hankton here for this long. You've had Brad Davis here for this long. You had a year of Bo Davis. The list goes on and on and on. And you couldn't deliver a championship. You had Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks on the same team. You had Jaden Daniels and Garrett Nussmeier at quarterback. You can just keep going on and on and on, and you would kind of feel sick to your stomach if LSU weren't to at least go on a very deep run here. And if LSU were going to go on a very deep run here, it's win or bust, really, for LSU Tigers fans and players and coaches. Because it's not that we would feel like, oh, how dare you. But LSU don't lose championship games. LSU don't lose at that level. They get there and they do it. They finish it. I know, January 2012, LSU, Alabama. I don't want to talk about that right now. We're not talking about that right now. But other than that, LSU get there and they get it done. All right. And it starts at these levels, at this juncture where spring showcase, no spring game. What does that mean for the players? How is that going to improve the players? How is it going to set up this squad for a championship run? I look at it like that every day. Like, how is this practice going to affect this team? Is there going to be an injury that's really going to hurt this team? Is there going to be a guy who really shows out and says, like, I'm the dude. I'm the true number one receiver. I'm the true number one running back. I'm going to be that futuristic man of tomorrow, Terminator motherfucker who can just do whatever. Give me the football. I'm going to dominate. Somebody who will really just put LSU on their back. And I think you can see a few of those type of guys already kind of emerging on this roster, and it's very exciting. But for me, I came up with some things of what I want to see in this, or at least what I'll be paying attention to the most in this spring game. Because, yeah, we're not going to get this on television, but I've got someone who's going to be filming this for me in its entirety. And, yeah, it's very cool that they're able to do that for me and very willing to do that and very cool about it. And I really appreciate the support. It really sucks not being there because that's really the point. I just want to be just want to be a part of it. And so we'll try and be a part of it as much as we can. We'll try and help you guys be a part of it as much as you can. And literally, if you're in Louisiana, if you're in Baton Rouge, if you're anywhere near, get your ass to this thing. Like, if I can't be there, all of you should be there at least. Like, come on. Like, get there, Fruit snack. First thing, like, I really am going to be paying attention to, Brad Davis's offensive line rotations. Okay, like we've seen Brad Davis basically, defy a lot of expectations going into this season. We expected Braylon Moore to walk in and just push DJ Chester over and take his lunch money, take his center position. And that did not happen. We expected Josh Thompson to come striding in, bully Weston Davis from the right tackle spot. That hasn't happened. We've seen DJ Chester never relinquish that first string center spot. He has held on to it with two hands, and he's quoted as saying, like, hey, I'm in a grown-up business. This is a big man business or something like that. And, like, basically saying he knows he made errors in year one. He knows he had some things he had to get through and to just purely endure. But if you've ever actually paid attention to the evolution of the center position, you would realize that actually happens quite a lot. And some of the best centers LSU have ever had, any team has ever had, all went through moments like that. Lloyd Cushenberry did. You can go through as many centers as you want to and go like, nope, they were always perfect. It's bullshit. There would always be at least one season in their early years, usually their rookie year, where they just completely lost, or freshman year, not in the pros, where they just lost control and had to hang on for dear life and hope that the right and left guards would basically drag them to the promised land. Paul Tarver says, Tigers finally serious with dedicated coach for special teams. No more rules by committee. No more rule by committee. About time. Yeah, I know. Special teams has been vastly ignored for a long time, which is why we're going to keep ignoring it by talking about the offensive line. Brad Davis's offensive line rotations really haven't been as crazy as we thought, Paul. It's, Weston Davis has been that starting right tackle. Tyree Adams as that starting left tackle. Cohen Eccles, Paul Mubenga, left guard, right guard, and then DJ Chester at center. And then second team's got Braylon Moore at center. It's got Josh Thompson at right tackle. And then it's got Bordelon, and it's got Carius Kern. You know, it's like Solomon Thomas rotating in and out. So, like, okay, here's the thing. There might be some deficiencies with this offensive line, but at least there's options. There's options. Now, I think it's about finding out, mixing and matching, and finding out who's going to affect who and give the line the best chemistry. And you've seen Brad Davis figure how to do that as good as any offensive line coach. You've seen him experiment and go crazy with some of these weird, wild rotations where you're like, no, those guys can't work together. No, those guys can't do that together. No, that team would fail. That type of stuff, right? But then you see him really figure out the formula. And okay, these are the 5 together that must start. You know, for a while, look at how he built the 2022/2023 O-line. He did it by, you know, Emory Jones wasn't starting at first at right tackle. He finally started after week 3, during week 3, I should say. We started that season with Garrett Dellinger at center. And it took, you know, Florida State playing like garbage against Florida State, being out of position for Garrett Dellinger, for them to really go, oh, God, we need Charles Turner. And that changed the whole thing. Bringing in Charles Turner, bringing in Emory Jones. And now you got an O-line that actually, you know, maybe should have won the Joe Moore Award in 2023. I think if LSU had showcased how well they actually ran the football with Logan Diggs a bit more, because if you look at the numbers, you look at the plays, you look at the eye test, the film there, they actually did, but they just didn't do it enough because most of the time they were running behind Jaden Daniels, which is another success of the offensive line. So I don't know why that is like, nope, your quarterback did the running, so it doesn't count. Kind of weird, but that's how we've seen Brad Davis build a all-world offensive line before, all-world starting 5 before. And losing 4 out of 5 guys, he's going to have to do that again. And, you know, he's got a lot of options. That's what's great is this team, this offensive line room is actually a lot deeper than sometimes I remember even. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's still at LSU. Oh my God, forgot about this guy. Like, it's hilarious. How many times you just forget how deep LSU actually is as a squad, as a roster. And it's easy. It's easy to forget that because we get caught up in some of these names and kind of go crazy over some of the names. But there's such a bevy, a plethora, a litany, a cavalcade of outrageous footballing talent on this squad. And it's really like, you've seen it before, I've seen it before. I feel like every LSU squad is a championship squad. It's really just, can the coaches figure out who should be playing, where they should be playing? Like, it's always seemed like that to me. Like, there'd be guys buried on the roster who become superstars a few years later. There'd be, oh my God, if we just run these type of plays, a counter play with this guy, we would have scored a touchdown every freaking play. Or, oh my God, if we had just played, there's, I'm trying to think of, like, I wanted to go into Ryan Perrilloux, kind of a crazy rant there, but I'll keep myself from doing that. I also wanted to go into a really crazy Russell Shepard rant there, but I'll keep myself from doing that. Point is, LSU offensive line wise, I like what we've got. I think it's a great chance to see up close how much do we believe in Tyree Adams? How much do we believe in Weston Davis? I think Tyree Adams will probably be a lot more accustomed and ready for this. Weston Davis, maybe not. But I think we'll see. And I think we'll see up close what these guys are ready to do. And the offensive line is this team is almost so hard to cover because we just haven't seen enough. We just don't even whether you're out there every day at spring practice or whether you're like me and getting a shit ton of film and just going through every one of these frames almost like you're going through this Zapruder film. The thing that sticks out is that we just don't know a lot about this team because we haven't seen this team actually play together. We don't know what this team's capable of because we don't know the actual identity of this team. They literally have no shape at this point. It's very strange. They've got a lot of identity and swagger and personality. But as far as what type of team this is going to be, I can only speculate on that right now with what we have. Another thing that I'm looking at is the receiving core. This is such a deep receiving core. It's incredible. This receiving core is absolutely deep. It's almost endless. You've got so much possibility, so many different talents, so many different pathways of who could be wide receiver one, who could be, the guy in the slot. You have like 3 different options for a guy who could be your slot guy. You have a few different options for who could be your home run hitter downfield. You have a few different options for who could be, Nuss's top target. You go to the tight ends as well. You have 3 different options there for who could be the top guys there. You got Trades Green. We already know about him, what he can do. Extraterrestrial talent. Donovan Green, I think he's probably the rawest of the 3 tight ends, but incredible length, incredible power. Kind of a bit more all-arounder, even though he's more of a hybrid kind of guy. Bauer Sharp has a great connection with Garrett Nussmeier already in the passing game, a lot of block and release type of moves. And then you've seen him making one-handed catches downfield. You've seen the footage of where it's just like, this guy was supposed to come in and be our blocking tight end, but now we realize he, led Oklahoma in receiving last year. And so it's like you've got more and more and more weapons than you actually realize. And, we haven't even covered really Harlem Berry at running back, JT Lindsay at running back, Trey Holly, if his case gets settled by, July when that trial happens. LSU could get even deeper here at some of these weapons positions. And so there's only so many people that can get the football. Who is going to leave in that spring portal is something I really am concerned about. I really want to know about. I really feel could be, without a doubt, a big deal for LSU's season, for LSU's future as well. Who's going to leave in the portal from the receiving position, if anybody? Could we see a Xavier Thomas leave in the portal? He's getting the ball a lot in practices. We're using him in all these different roles. That's great, but maybe that's kind of a political move to keep him happy while he doesn't play much and just returns. Because, man, he could start for a pretty much every SEC program, or at least play a lot of hard snaps. So we've got to figure out some type of position, some type of package where we can feature Xavier Thomas frequently in games. And I don't think that's a bizarre, like, we have to do this type of bullshit thing, because we're lucky we have players like Xavier Thomas, and they're riding the bench a lot of times. Xavier Thomas or a Kyle and Billio, like, we take for granted Caleb Jackson is our second, third running back, and we've basically thrown that kid away after he had a freshman breakout year. Like, LSU have a lot more talent than we realize in a receiving core, and it's not just the receivers, it's the tight ends, it's the running backs catching the football out of the backfield. This team has a lot of firepower, and I want to see little glimpses, little flashes of how Joe Sloan has kind of elevated in his play calling for this next season. How are you going to make this offense as explosive as they should be? I want to see the nuts and bolts. I want to see the whole damn thing constructed right in front of me. I want to see how this is going to take shape. I want to see, okay, we're going to have Xavier Thomas in these weird, packages where he's in the backfield. Caden Durham's on the other side. We motion him out, throw a little flanker screen, or we have him do an out and up, and then he takes away all this coverage while our running back slips over the middle. Big, kind of like a delayed look downfield and then dump it off type of play into a bunch of space. All these different creative plays. You can get crazy and really go nuts with this group of guys, because LSU have so many different profiles of players, so many different talents on this team. You've got lengthy receivers who are going to be great with contested catches, so go up and get it type of plays. You got burners who are going to roast their guy running the route, and are going to be able to catch a 70-yard bomb down the field like Chris Hilton Jr. You've got absolute speed freak over the middle burners like a Barian Brown, Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson, who can do a little bit of everything, but when you utilize their speed as the prime attribute you want to showcase with your play design, which is usually for the best of everybody because they're beating everybody off of the release, all of that. Well, then you've just got a lot of different weapons, and Garrett Nussmeier has the type of arm that he can really work with a lot of this stuff and deliver the football to all types of profiles, all types of route runners. We've seen Nussmeier display a pure NFL arm. 1 second. Another big question I have is who's going to be the number 2 quarterback? How much are we going to see Michael Van Buren? How much are we going to see Juwan Johnson? Obviously, we're not going to see Colin Hurley, but like, what's going on with Colin Hurley? How long is he going to be out for? That's so up in the air, and so kind of questions that maybe you don't really want answered because you don't really want to know the truth. Like, man, the injury he had and stuff, I mean, the accident he got in, like, you just hope that kid can get back as soon as possible, because you're starting to see some things take shape on this roster with this team now that are going to take opportunities away from him. When you've got Michael Van Buren now a part of the roster, that's a guy with multiple years of eligibility. Yeah, it's chocolate ice cream. You've got Michael Van Buren coming in here with multiple years of eligibility. And now Juwan Johnson has switched positions back to quarterback, his high school position. He, was recruited at LSU to be a corner, a shutdown corner. And he was a 5-star at that position. A 5-star athlete. And set all kinds of records, Louisiana records for quarterback play and for total yards and touchdowns. And he would just do some crazy, absolute, unbelievable things in these big state title games for Lafayette Christian Academy. And I want to see him play quarterback at LSU tomorrow for a significant amount of time. I understand you want to see Michael Van Buren for maybe – you want to give Nussmeier one of the quarters, give Van Buren the other quarter, and then let Juwan Johnson play however long the second half goes for. I think that's what you do. And I think what your main takeaway from that tape needs to be is not, what type of quarterback Juwan Johnson could be in maybe a year or two from now, but what LSU could do this year with him and Nussmeier on the field together. What type of weird wrinkle, jet sweep, dual backfield, split backfield type of play can we run that gets the best out of Juwan Johnson and Garrett Nussmeier, because they're two incredible quarterback athlete type players, where Nussmeier, he's a pure quarterback, a pure pocket passing quarterback. He's not going to be running for 10 touchdowns a season and however many yards. Although he had 3 touchdowns last year, to his name, but he needs to actually run the ball a lot more, really. And that has been a criticism of him, not seeing the space and taking the free yards. But you have a potential chance for a dual threat quarterback with Juwan Johnson to really be on the field with him at the same time, potentially. So you have a chance to get extremely creative with so many different profiles here. From Xavier Thomas, who we just talked about, a receiver, to Juwan Johnson, quarterback, playing wildcat, doing wildcat plays, doing all sorts of different jet sweeps and all sorts of weird backfield type of plays. I think LSU have a chance to really bamboozle some teams this season. But as for who's going to be that number 2 quarterback, I think you're probably looking at Michael Van Buren, but I want to see Juwan Johnson given as much time as possible. Which defenders rise to the moment and could be next in line behind Perkins and Weeks? That's another thing I want to know is, okay, Jacobian Guillory's back. He's back practicing. It's fantastic. Sider Mitchell, no injury. Well, there was, but he's okay. He's good. But we still have Perkins and Weeks, both out. Harold Perkins with Weeks, both out. I want to see who's going to really say, hey, this is my job now. I'm taking over this spot. Is that going to be West Weeks? Is he going to be the man? Is it going to be Davon Keys? Is it going to be Tylen Singleton saying, I'm going to get as many reps as I can? Who's going to say, I'm going to be that number 2 at Star and really stick out? Is that going to be Austin Osbury, who's been playing there at Star? Is it going to be Javian Tobiano, who's going to play safety and then maybe Star? Second string Star? I really want to see them experiment with the defense tomorrow. And I love that with this team, you really can't tell where this team is going. You can't really tell what this team is becoming. I feel like I've got a really good grasp on this team. I feel like I've got one of the, I mean, I would be shocked if I didn't feel this way, but I feel like I've got one of the best like narrative grasps on LSU football, where they are at the moment. And from what I'm looking at, this is a team that's got a lot of swagger, a lot of firecrackers on it, a lot of guys who are ready for the moment. And then it's got the majority of guys on this team are dudes who are really, 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 really young, but are going to be expected to play a lot. And you've got year one guys, year two guys who've already played a ton or are going to be expected to play a ton, to carry their weight in certain positions. That's only going to help the future for LSU, because you're just going to have guys maturing at a lot earlier, higher clip. But at the same time, you really want to make sure that you have as much depth as possible defensively. And defensively, you look at this defense, top to bottom. And I thought defensive tackle was going to be the really big hole on this defense. And it continues to really surprise me, because Sydir Mitchell is way better than anybody was broadcasting him to be. A lot of people were saying he's going to be a second stringer, blah, blah, blah. Twin Priv still with that take. Sounds like an idiot. But now we've seen it obvious. It's obvious. Sydir Mitchell, he's literally competing for a starting spot. He's playing that well. So you've actually got Ahmad Bro and Dominic McKinley. They're going to be in a fight for playing time against Jacoby and Guillory and Sydir Mitchell, Sean Washington. You actually have a damn good group of guys there under Kyle Williams. So I actually feel great about the defensive tackle room right now. And I think we're going to feel even better about them after tomorrow's footage. Sorry, everybody. So just a few things we're keeping our eye on for this spring game tomorrow. And Paul Tarver, saying he loves that we've got a special teams coach and it's not ruled by committee. It's like, well, yeah, but at the same time, we've changed special teams coaches like almost every year still. Like, it's still not where you want. I mean, Aman Anand, is he going to stay multiple years? Hopefully, but I also am kind of sick of the whole multiple coaches thing. Like that really bugs me with certain positions and special teams. It never benefited from that. It never benefited from the existence of Brian Polian in Baton Rouge, which, I mean, he was basically like Tim Walls at a biker bar. He was so out of his depth. Brian Polian at LSU, that's hilarious. Literally, Tim Walls at a biker bar, he was so bad. Everybody, I'm excited for this spring game. I hope you are. I know it's a different format. I know it's a different thing, but if you're local, if you're in Louisiana, get your ass to this game. Have fun. Send us all the footage. Tag us all in your footage. Rub it in our face. Rub it in your face. I mean, rub it in our face that you were there and we weren't. And really make it a day. And have yourselves an amazing time at this game tomorrow or practice, whatever it is. Get a photo with Kelly. Push a few old women over to get in line, whatever you have to do to get there before the 30 minutes. Make it happen. Get that photo with Kelly, baby. I love when people actually take that type of stuff from me seriously. He actually advocated pushing a woman during a riot. We have a strange sense of humor, and we actually kind of like this this bizarre way of doing things. But I feel really stupid and foolish not being there for the spring game. I simply have to. I'm not. It's not like it's not for. It's not like for other people. Like what I have to. It's not like I can just get in a car and drive down the road and or maybe make a few sacrifices and you have to drive 4 or 5 hours or something. I'm literally having to fly cross country to do this like every time and take off work and like a lot of different stuff. I mean, well, I wouldn't have to take off work for this. Luckily, it's on the weekend, but it's really just oh man, I wish I was in Louisiana a lot more, and I really hope that can happen soon. Um, because once that does, I mean, we can really change um, our absolute rate of coverage. Where like I feel like LSU fans, you guys, you deserve the best content possible. You deserve the best possible stuff, best possible coverage, best possible profiles, interviews, everything about your team possible. And hopefully we can do what is possible, do what is necessary, and do what we should to get ourselves in these rooms more so that we can treat you guys to the content and the work that you guys deserve, because you guys are amazing. You guys have been so supportive. You guys have been exhaustively supportive. You guys have been tirelessly supportive of us, and I cannot thank you enough. It's because of you guys that we keep doing this. Really, we absolutely love what we do. That's why I keep on saying, I want to do this for a job. I want to do this for a job big time, is because man, I really not being there for like a practice, I get pissed off about it. Like like I feel it like deeply. Like God damn, why I missed a practice. Like so last year when I missed all of spring, for the first time ever, it was like, what the hell just happened? How did this happen? Like I demand an inquest. And luckily, we were able to rectify that. We were able to go to a game this last season. But like the point is really, if we could afford it, we would be on a plane every single weekend or whatever end to be there. We wouldn't have it. We would quit our job right now and do this full time. So let's hope. Let's hope for the future that we can give you guys the best content you deserve, because when we've gotten to those places, when we've gotten to those games, we've been able to try and give you that type of stuff, and we want to elevate as much as possible. North Face Norman says tomorrow at the scrimmage. What about tomorrow at the scrimmage? Will you be at the scrimmage, North Face Norman? I hope you are. He says, yo. North Face Norman, I hope you're going to be at the scrimmage tomorrow. That'd be awesome. Everybody who is anywhere close, anybody who is anywhere in the state of Louisiana, absolutely must be there for that. North Face Norman says, what's the biggest thing you want to see at the scrimmage? Well, we just answered that the last hour. We said that we wanted to see Brad Davis's offensive line rotations. We wanted to see the receiving core, who might be kind of getting edged out, who are the main guys, who's the number 2 quarterback, and kind of who's the defenders that are like rising in this moment and could be right there behind Perkins or Weeks if those guys aren't 100% in time for week 1 or what have you. just kind of an LSU defensive depth question. But then I just want to see a lot of the stuff with the staff as well. I want to see a lot of these guys from the staff for the first time, and kind of see them in their element. And it sucks not being there too, because it's a big day for LSU content creators, because this is not going to be filmed by a TV coverage. This is not going to be on any radio. So if you're there and you're filming it, people are going to be plugged into everything that you're posting, because that's the only way they're going to be able to see this. So it's a big missed opportunity for LSU Odyssey, and I kind of feel like shit about it, really. Everybody, just complete love and gratitude and respect and just devotion for where I'm at in life, the amazing family I have. I just want to provide for them even more. I just want to make more money for them. I want to like provide a life that is just as good as it can be, and I want to help others on that way as possible. I just have a good feeling about the future. Like I feel like there's some scary stuff about the future, but I feel like for a lot of people, things are actually going to turn for the best. And I feel like that might not sound correct. That might seem like a pipe dream. But I really do believe that like this is going to be a year where things are really going to work out for a lot of different people. And hopefully it works out for everybody. Although usually that's just not going to be possible. I root for everybody's success. I don't have hate in my heart for anybody. But man, I want this so bad. I want to cover LSU as a job so damn bad. I can feel it in every ounce of my body. And you really, at least for me, I really feel like physically the not being there for certain moments, not missing out on certain things, just as much as I feel the excitement in my belly when I am there. You know, so sucks we can't be there for the spring game, but support all the other LSU content creators and writers or media people who will be there, and they will be posting that footage and stuff themselves. Sadly, we won't, but they will be. So support them as well. Everybody, thank you for watching. You have a hell of a weekend. This is going to be an awesome weekend. And we're going to be talking live in the afternoon after the spring game about what we just saw, and check us out tomorrow for that. Everybody, have a good rest of your Friday, and have a good night. Good night and